guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Before we get started, I want to apologize for the audio. I am actually recording this in a coffee shop with my mask on, with my mic in my mask, so we'll see how this goes. As suggested by a lovely follower of mine on Instagram, which I sadly don't remember who it was, I'm going to slow down the process video today and just kind of short form how I do my drawings and my thought process, and just talk over the video, and hopefully it'll be chill and relaxing. Maybe not so much with this audio. Maybe I'll just give up, but we'll see. Yeah, no, I gave up. That was far too loud in there. It is now 8:08 a.m. I start work at 9, so I came super early before anybody got here so I could try and record most of this video, hopefully. So let's get to it. Before we get to the info on this video, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to my Patreon. It is halfway through the month and the print and stickers are announced. This is what I will be giving out this month, and I'm super excited about it. I have 3 tiers. I've mentioned it in previous videos, and we finally reached 15 patrons yesterday, so it's so crazy to me. So if you are interested in getting the print or the sticker, or if you just want the digital rewards, please check out my Patreon. The link is below. Now I'll actually get started on the video, I promise. Today we are going to go over the process of my Babygirl redraw. Again, it's a redraw. It's my favorite thing to do. It's so much fun and it's so motivating to see yourself grow. So here is the original and here is the new version. While I didn't hate the original, I did feel like it was outdated in regards to my shading style, and I also noticed a lot of things kind of weird with the shape of the face, so I really wanted to go ahead and do it. Another thing that bothered me was the flatness of the hair, so let's get started. First, I always start off with a sketch. I was looking at the original while doing this, but I did think about the fact that including her chest and a little bit longer of her arm would make the piece more appealing. So that's what I'm doing here. This first sketch is super messy. It's on the same layer. I'm just trying to have fun, block in some pieces, just enjoy what it looks like. I wanted to make sure the hair was not so flat. And then sometimes I'll do a second sketch, but this time I did not. I started right into the line art. I tried to include like a little extra flick in of the eyeliner, which I see a lot of people do on TikTok, which is super cool, and I could never pull it off. And yeah, this is always how I start it. If you've seen my process videos before and really like paid attention, my step-by-step process is almost always the same. So like my nose, the lips, and the skin, all the skin lines, like the eyelid line, that they're all on the same layer, and then the irises of the eyes are on a different layer. The eyeliner and mascara I put into the same layer, and then the eyebrows are on a totally separate layer. And then here I am just sketching out the hair. I wanted it to be a lot more flowy, less blocky of line art, if you will. The last piece seemed really flat, like I didn't have pieces flowing on top of other pieces. I don't really know if that makes sense. I do remember that back then I used to stay up till 4 a.m. and run on like 2 hours of sleep. So that's definitely a big factor in why it may not have turned out as good as I wanted it to. Now I'm just blocking in the flats, keeping them underneath the layers of the skin and then the hair. And something that I learned from Ross Draw's most recent video, and that's I believe the digital art mistakes, is I used to do the flats and then I'd go right into shading, but you'll notice right about here that I started kind of adding a bit more colors to it. Like I didn't leave it completely flat, and I call that kind of the underpainting of digital art, just to make it a bit more interesting when I do go into shade. And then I always shade the eyes first because I feel like it brings the piece to life right away, and it makes me a bit more motivated to continue. So then I go in with the skin. I fade out all the lines when I shade, and I use the selection tool very often when it comes to shading the arm and then like the chest separately. I also did another tip from Ross Draws here where I'm trying to keep my shadows a lot more saturated. So that's why the shadows seem quite blue. I kind of darkened them here, and then I add another another layer that's dark. I'm literally just talking and just trying here. I always do the body first and then the head usually. I like to shade the head and make it look not flat. That's my first goal. And then again, make the eyes not flat, make the nose not flat. And then once it gets to the point where it just looks weird without the lips being done, I will go to the lips eventually. It just comes to a point where it's like, I don't think I'm going to be able to see this as well if the lips aren't done. I don't know if that makes sense. I guess here we go. So that's just kind of how I think about it. Like, I got to the point where I was like, okay, this face needs a lot more shading, but without the lips done, I don't think I can see the full picture. So I do jump around a bit, but not too much. I always, like I said, keep my step-by-step pretty similar. It just makes it a lot easier for me. So here I am shading the eyes. It gets to a point where I really like to add that dark makeup. I feel like it helps the eyes pop out a lot. I always add in that highlight right in the inside corner of the eye. I feel like it really makes it pop. And then I use the noise brushes in multiply and add, and then I lower the opacity a lot to create that skin texture that you guys notice a lot. And then I also use Hey Mary Jane's freckle brush. I just find it helps with a bit bigger spots, a bit more imperfections. The hearts I found really difficult with this like angle of the face, but I feel like it kind of turned out. So I've been starting to highlight the forehead a lot more as well. It just helps make the head look more spherical, is that a word? More round. Here I noticed that the hair probably would have caressed the face a bit more, closer to her cheek. There was just too much going on there. And then for clothes, I kept it really, really simple because there wasn't any in the original piece. And the tattoo was more difficult than I thought it was going to be. The font that I had before wasn't there. And then here I am. This is the multiply layer clipped to the hair layer. I tried to spice it up a bit and do some parts like a bit more strong shadowed, and then some were a bit more faded, as you see like right on the crook of like the shoulder and the face. So I'm going to shade it, but then I kind of changed the colors a bit. Yeah, I had purple on the bottom there. I just want to make this picture pop and not seem flat like I felt like the first picture did. And then here I am shading the hair. I did a mini hair tutorial that I uploaded to Instagram and TikTok quite a while ago, and I'm using the exact same process here, except for I'm just using a bit more color variation. So I am simply using the multiply tool with the hair color and doing whatever you want to call this, making the hair look like pieces. I think that's definitely one of the best tips when you're doing hair is consider everything to be a separate piece. It makes it more interesting. I find I've done block hair before and I really, really liked it. If any of you were around so long ago when I did my first Huevember, I did block hair then, and I still think it looks really sick. But overall, if I'm doing a fully shaded piece, I really, really like to do this. I think I would like to try doing a fully shaded piece but with block hair one day. It might make it a bit more interesting. This part takes forever, so I am just going to stop talking for now and let you guys enjoy the hair process, and I will come back once we are done. really quick here, once I finish the multiply layer, I then do an add layer and I highlight in the middle of each piece where I had shaded on the edge of each piece. Sometimes I'll leave it really, really bright like it is now. I can't remember if I dull it down a bit because it was just a bit much. But I will say that the very, very first part that I did when I just did the shadows, not the actual shading, I did that above the multiply and the add layer. So that way I can use the add underneath the shadows and it still looks like it's in the shadow because it's a bit darkened because of that, again, shadow layer. So I'm just gonna let you guys watch this part. Okay, so the highlights are done. I believe I went and I darkened the bottom of the hair here. Yeah, just to make it a bit more interesting again. And then you'll notice I darkened the hairline. That's because pink hair is not natural and I find it just makes it more interesting to the eye to darken the hairline like that and more accurate. And then I tried adding these pieces that are super random and I used the motion tool just to make it look like the hair was moving. And then I made these really, really simple hoop earrings. I made them thinner than last time and same here, thinner breadths, and I didn't make them the exact same angle. And then here I am just kind of doing the background. I highlighted the bottom. I tried to do it very, very, very similar to the original drawing because I still wanted it to be the same. And here I am highlighting around her and I have the hearts and I think that's pretty much it. I kind of fussed around with it, but yeah. I played with some layering there and some brightness just to make it more interesting, and here is the final piece. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it wasn't super informative, but I kind of just wanted to explain my thought process when doing this piece really quickly here for YouTube, and it was really fun. I really am glad that I did this. I feel like it turned out a lot better, especially anatomy wise. So let me know what you think in the comments. I'll do some close-ups and shout out my patrons and the end of the video. Bye.